This video will briefly discuss how to perform cycle counts in Adjutant. The first thing you're going to want to do is open up your cycle count screen. The way that you can do that is go to Transaction, Item Control, and click on your cycle count menu. The first tab on this page is the tab that you will be using to set up your filters or controls of your cycle count. So if you wanted to do the cycle count by a specific part, you can enter that in here. If you wanted to do it on a certain location or bin, so if you wanted to run all your counts for a bin or a number of bins, you can type those in here. We also have a cycle count code in Adjutant, and that is located on the item master on the OHF tab. So if I look at my item master here on my OHF tab, I can see down here that there's a box that says CC, and that is our cycle count code. So whenever creating an item, you can, when you're editing this, you can just put in a code there for certain items, and that is another way that you can filter and control your cycle counts. So if you wanted all your widgets to be a certain cycle count code, you can make that code W, and if you wanted to run a cycle count for just your widgets, you would type a W in here. You can also run it by ABC code. Of course, the ABC codes are updated in the system based on how the ABC logic is set up. You can run this by item class, you can run it by commodity code, or by price group. I'm going to run it using a commodity code of fasteners just as an example. So when I'm ready to run my actual cycle count, if I don't want to filter it at all, if I wanted to run my entire inventory, which you probably are not going to do because that defeats the purpose of a cycle count, but if you don't select any filters, just like all the other reports and functions in Adjutant, it's going to give you all. So I'm going to put in here my filter, fasteners. I'm going to go down here and click Submit. You see this Verify Only button directly above the Submit. That will allow you to just verify the counts in the system. It will not allow you to actually change any of the accounts. So when I'm ready to load that count based on the filter, I hit my Submit button. It's going to tell me that 23 pack IDs have been added to the cycle count. My next step is going to go over to my far right and click on my Pending Counts tab. You can see here that nothing has been loaded so far. We're going to hit Reload, and that's going to load those 23 pack IDs that we filtered out in our cycle count controls tab. So these are those fasteners. So these are anything that has a commodity code of fastener will show up here. And this is going to be the screen we use to enter in our counts. Now, first we have to have the actual count. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to our print button. It's going to bring up your message control screen, and you can print out this sheet here. So this will be the sheet that is given to the inventory manager or the inventory personnel that will be going through and counting. As you can see here, we don't have the computer count on here because we don't want the personnel or the employee to see what is supposed to be in the system. So this allows for a little bit more accuracy. It doesn't allow you to cheat one or two on your counts. So you're going to give this to the inventory personnel, and he or she is going to walk around and write in the counts for each one of these items and descriptions. Once they've written all those counts in, you will go back to this screen here and you'll enter in those counts. So if you hover over this count quantity and you click into it, you have the ability to actually enter in what the counts are based on what has been given. So I'm just going to do a few here, and I'm going to put in 1000 here. and there's actually a quantity of 995. So I just entered in 3 of these. I can actually update this as I go. So if I get halfway through today and I'm ready to update, I can go down here and hit my update button. It's going to ask me if I want to update these counts. I say yes. And you can see those are actually removed from here. Now those are going to get taken into the completed counts tab. When I'm ready to load those, I can hit my reload button down here at the bottom. And you can see here that the 3 lines that I've entered in counts for show up here on my completed counts tab. The bottom line, as you recall, I entered in 5 greater than what we have in the system, and so that is going to show us that there has been a count change. When you are ready to commit these, you can select the ones you want to commit and you can hit the commit button. It's going to ask you to verify, hit yes, and that is actually going to commit those counts and it will change your OHF records. If you did not want to commit those changes, so let's say I went here and I said 1005 and I updated this. I go over here to my completed tabs and I reload. If I say, oh well, I don't think that's right, he counted those wrong, I can actually dismiss this. Once I am ready to enter in the rest of my counts, I can go back to my pending count screen and I can load those here.